1940–1958. Early roles. Schooling and martial arts initiation. Lee's father Lee Hoi Chuan was a famous Cantonese opera star. As a result, the junior Lee was introduced to the world of cinema at a very young age and appeared in several films as a child. Lee had his first role as a baby who was carried onto the stage in the film Golden Gate Girl. 14. He took his Chinese stage name as Li Xiaolong, lit. Li the Little Dragon, for the fact that he was born in both the hour and the year of the dragon by the Chinese zodiac. 15. As a 9-year-old, he would co-star with his father in The Kid in 1950, which was based on a comic book character and was his first leading role. 16. By the time he was 18, he had appeared in 20 films. 15. After attending Tak Sun School, Daishin Shuixiao several blocks from his home at 218 Nathan Road, Kowloon, Lee entered the primary school division of the Catholic La Salle College at the age of. In 1956, due to poor academic performance and possibly poor conduct, he was transferred to St. Francis Xavier's College, where he would be mentored by Brother Edward, a teacher and coach of the school boxing team. 13. After Lee was involved in several street fights, his parents decided that he needed to be trained in the martial arts. Lee's friend William Chung, 18, introduced him to Ip Man when. But 19, he was rejected from learning Wing Chun Kung Fu under him because of the long-standing rule in the Chinese martial arts world not to teach foreigners. 20. His one-quarter German, citation needed, background from his mother's side would be an initial obstacle towards his Wing Chun training. However, Chung would speak on his behalf and Lee was accepted into the school. 21. Lee began training in Wing Chun with Yip Man. 22. Yip tried to keep his students from fighting in the street gangs of Hong Kong by encouraging them to fight in organized competitions. 23. After a year into his Wing Chun training, most of Yip Man's other students refused to train with Lee when they had learned of his mixed ancestry, as the Chinese were generally against teaching their martial arts techniques to non-Asians. 24-25. Lee's sparring partner, Hawkins Chung, states, probably fewer than 6 people in the whole Wing Chun clan were personally taught, or even partly taught, by Yip Man. 26. However, Lee showed a keen interest in Wing Chun and continued to train privately with Yip Man, William Chung and Wang Shun Liang. 27. In 1958, Bruce won the Hong Kong Schools boxing tournament, knocking out the previous champion, Gary Elms, in the final. 13. That year, Lee was also a cha-cha dancer, winning Hong Kong's Crown Colony Cha-Cha Championship. 28. 1959–1964. Continuous studies and martial arts breakthrough until his late teens. Lee's street fights became more frequent and included beating the son of a feared triad family. 29. In 1958, after students from a rival Choi Lee Foot martial arts school challenged Lee's Wing Chun school, he engaged in a fight in a rooftop. In response to an unfair punch by another boy, Bruce beat him so badly that he knocked out one of his teeth, leading to a complaint by the boy's parents to the police. Lee's mother had to go to a police station and sign a document saying that she would take full responsibility for Bruce's actions if they released him into her custody. Though she did not mention the incident to her husband, she suggested that Bruce, being an American citizen, return to the United States. Lee's father agreed, as Lee's college prospects were he to remain in Hong Kong were not very promising. 30. In April 1959, Lee's parents decided to send him to the United States to stay with his older sister, Agnes Lee Chufeng, who was already living with family friends in San Francisco. After several months, he moved to Seattle in 1959 to continue his high school education, where he also worked for Ruby Chow as a live-in waiter at her restaurant. Chow's husband was a co-worker and friend of Li's father. Li's elder brother Peter Li Zhongchen, would also join him in Seattle for a short stay before moving on to Minnesota to attend college. That year Li also started to teach martial arts. He called what he taught Jun Fan Gung Fu, literally Bruce Lee's Kung Fu. It was basically his approach to Wing Chun. 32, Li taught friends he met in Seattle, starting with judo practitioner Jesse Glover, who continued to teach some of Li's early techniques. Taki Kimura became Li's first assistant instructor and continued to teach his art and philosophy after Li's death. 33, Li opened his first martial arts school, named the Li Jun Fan Gung Fu Institute, in Seattle. Li completed his high school education and received his diploma from Edison Technical School on Capitol Hill in Seattle. 34, in March 1961, Li enrolled at the University of Washington and studied dramatic arts, philosophy, psychology, and various other subjects. 35-36 Despite what Li himself and many others have stated, Li's official major was drama rather than philosophy, according to a 1999 article in the university's alumni publication. Li dropped out of college in early 1964 and moved to Oakland to live with James Yim Lee. James Lee was 20 years senior to Bruce Lee and a well-known Chinese martial artist in the area. Together, they founded the Second Jun Fan Martial Arts Studio in Oakland. James Lee was also responsible for introducing Bruce Lee to Ed Parker, an American martial artist. At the invitation of Parker, Li appeared in the 1964 Long Beach International Karate Championships and performed repetitions of two-finger push-ups, using the thumb and the index finger of one hand, with feet at approximately shoulder-width apart. In the same Long Beach event he also performed the 1-inch punch. 38, Li stood upright, his right foot forward with knees bent slightly, in front of a standing, stationary partner. Li's right arm was partly extended and his right fist approximately 1 inch (2.5 centimeters) away from the partner's chest. Without retracting his right arm, Li then forcibly delivered the punch to volunteer Bob Baker while largely maintaining his posture, sending Baker backwards and falling into a chair said to be placed behind Baker to prevent injury, though Baker's momentum soon caused him to fall to the floor. Baker recalled, "I told Bruce not to do this type of demonstration again. When he punched me that last time, I had to stay home from work because the pain in my chest was unbearable." 39, it was at the 1964 championships that Li first met Taekwondo master Jun-Gu Ri. The two developed a friendship, a relationship from which they benefited as martial artists. Ri taught Li the side kick in detail, and Li taught Ri the non-telegraphic punch. 40. In Oakland's Chinatown in 1964, Li had a controversial private match with Wang Jack-man, a direct student of Ma Kin-feng, known for his mastery of Xingyiquan, Northern Shaolin, and Tai Chi Chuan. According to Li, the Chinese community issued an ultimatum to him to stop teaching non-Chinese people. When he refused to comply, he was challenged to a combat match with Wang. The arrangement was that if Li lost, he would have to shut down his school, while if he won, he would be free to teach white people, or anyone else. 41, Wang denied this, stating that he requested to fight Li after Li boasted during one of his demonstrations at a Chinatown theater that he could beat anyone in San Francisco, and that Wang himself did not discriminate against whites or other non-Chinese people. 42, Li commented, "That paper had all the names of the Sifu from Chinatown, but they don't scare me." 43, individuals known to have witnessed the match include Cadwell, James Lee, Bruce Lee's associate, no relation, and William Chen, a teacher of Tai Chi Chuan. Wang and William Chen stated that the fight lasted an unusually long 20 to 25 minutes. 42-44. Wang claims that although he had originally expected a serious but polite bout, Li aggressively attacked him with intent to kill. When Wang presented the traditional handshake, Li appeared to accept the greeting, but instead, Li allegedly thrust his hand as a spear aimed at Wang's eyes. Forced to defend his life, Wang nonetheless asserted that he refrained from striking Li with killing force when the opportunity presented itself because it could have earned him a prison sentence, but used illegal cufflinks under his sleeves. According to Michael Dorgan's 1980 book Bruce Lee's Toughest Fight, the fight ended due to Lee's unusually winded condition, as opposed to a decisive blow by either fighter. 42, however, according to Bruce Lee, Linda Lee Cadwell, and James Yim Lee, the fight lasted a mere 3 minutes with a decisive victory for Lee. In Cadwell's account, the fight ensued. It was a no-holds-barred fight. It took 3 minutes. Bruce got this guy down to the ground and said, "Do you give up?" And the man said he gave up. 41, a couple of weeks after the bout, Lee gave an interview claiming that he had defeated an unnamed challenger, which Wang says was an obvious reference to him. 42-44, in response, Wang published his own account of the fight in the Chinese Pacific Weekly, a Chinese-language newspaper in San Francisco, with an invitation to a public rematch if Lee was not satisfied with the account. Lee did not respond to the invitation despite his reputation for violently responding to every provocation. 42, and there were no further public announcements by either, though Lee continued to teach white people. Lee had abandoned thoughts of a film career in favor of pursuing martial arts. However, a martial arts exhibition on Long Beach in 1964 eventually led to the invitation by television producer William Dozier for an audition for a role in the pilot for Number One Son, about Lee Chan, the son of Charlie Chan. The show never materialized, but Dozier saw potential in Lee. 45. Thank you for watching. Hopefully it's useful. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. See you in the next video.